Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for being here, and also thank you for your service. General Goldfriend, you stated that F-35 is the quarterback of our fighter aircraft, and you also said that by 2040 you want a 80-20% dominance of the air wing by the fifth-generation fighters like the F-35. And in all my time on House Armed Services Committee, we had a lot of discussion about the need to invest in more fifth generation into our current fleet, but then also to start investing in sixth generation aircraft, certainly because our competitors on a global scale, the Chinese, are pushing into the sixth generation themselves. So I'm a little bit confused. How will funding the F-15X, EX, affect your goal of this dominance, given that a sustained defense budget is not guaranteed moving into the future?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So first, I'll say that the F-35, as I describe it, is the quarterback of more than the fighter force. It's the quarterback of the penetrating joint team. And when you look at the investment that we are making in this budget in penetrating capability, you'll see $135 billion of investment. But that is F-35 plus B-21 plus other capabilities plus space capabilities that all are required to penetrate enemy airspace and be able to watch the enemy. So first and foremost, the F-35, which is why we are not backing an inch off of our program of record and maintaining the F-35, because it is the quarterback of the joint team that we need. The challenge we face is a near-term challenge. Our analysis indicated that to be able to drive aircraft age to a manageable level and to be able to do the missions that we require, we have to procure 72 aircraft a year to do that. There's 4 aircraft that we have to fly in the fourth generation capacity-wise into the 2030s, and that's the F-15C, the A-10, the F-15E, and the F-16. 3 are going to be capable of flying into the 2030s. 1 is not going to make it. So the F-15 refresh is only to give us the capacity we need as we make that transition from 2080 to 80-20. And we find ourselves in this position again because, as the chairman mentioned, when the decision to cancel the F-22 occurred, we're supposed to have 1,100 F-35s right now. We have less than 300. So we're faced with the situation we have right now, and as the Secretary and I looked at the cost estimates, an F-15 refresh using the investments that the Saudis and the Qataris have put in that line to replace the F-15C, as long as we don't impact the F-35 line, was a reasonable choice.
So you're refreshing the Charlie model F-15s, and they're going into the EX. And then what's the projected lifespan for the refresh model into the future? You're saying into 2030?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, longer. The model of the EX model has got a 20,000-hour service life expectancy.
And will that affect what your future requests are going to be for the number of F-35s?
Ma'am, if we ever get to a point where we are trading F-35s for F-15s, let me tell you, that's a bad choice. The F-15 is not an F-35. It will never be an F-35. We are just, in the flying business, we describe things as runway behind us and runway ahead of us. The decision that was made on the F-22 to put us in the place we're in is runway behind us. I can't affect that. The Secretary and I can only affect runway ahead of us. And what we need is we need the capacity. And we've got to get to 72 aircraft a year. And we've got to look at the cost projections to be able to make it an affordable decision going forward.
Understood. Also, airspace above, altitude above you and gas on the ground behind you, right? Last year, it was reported that more than 126 military installations or sites and their surrounding communities rely on wells or groundwater sources that contain dangerous levels of 2 chemical compounds that are tied to birth defects and certain cancers, known as PFOS and PFOA. Secretary Wilson, how many Air Force military installations may be threatened by dangerous levels of PFOS and PFOA? Do you know?
Ma'am, we have done 110 detailed site inspections. We have looked at 297 total locations. So we've done the detail of those. Of the ones we did, so we did an initial look, and in that initial look, we identified 21 installations where we need to do alternative water supplies. So there is immediately alternative water supplies to make sure that people have safe drinking water. We then go back and do a more detailed site inspection, and we have done 110 detailed site inspections of a total of 189, I think, active facilities. We also do some on locations that were BRAC'd.
What about the ones that are on Air Guard?
That
locations?
includes active Guard and Reserve.
Okay, thank you. You, Mr.
Thank you.